Would you be willing to take a few moments to relax, to allow me to create a space where you can discover more of the subtleties operating within your system, to have an increased or expanded awareness of the nuance of the inner workings of your body-mind, so that you can relax, release, and better understand what's really taking place within that may be causing something outwardly not to be moving or working the way that you would like. I have found in 26 years of pursuing an understanding of how humans function and why we experience what we do and how to alleviate suffering, that the inner world is deeply responsible for so much, if not all, of what we're experiencing outwardly. Although sometimes it does seem that things happen to us from the outside, I have found something very powerful, something profound, something that was necessitated in order for me to find peace again. And that is that there is something, a quality of being in me that is greater than anything that happens in the world. I've been through extreme abuse. I've caused great suffering. I've done great harm to myself and to others. And all of that came with a great cost of pain, as you may have experienced in your own life by certain things that you have done or that have maybe been done to you. But what I have found is that within me is a creative capacity capable of transforming my inner landscape so that I can have peace, that I can have love, that I can appreciate and value myself as a being, even though what I went through was so painful. So would you allow yourself to simply witness and observe what is present right now in your living experience? There may be circumstances, conditions, and events that seem very real, very powerful, maybe overwhelming, and that's okay. Let's start to become aware of what's happening on the inside. Notice what you feel. Notice what you're thinking. Notice what you're experiencing. What is taking place in your inner world, within your body, and where in your body? The body gives us clues to how we organize information and how our perception is structured. Perception precedes our performance, our production, and our profits, right? What we earn, what we gain out of life. Perception is how we interpret and give meaning to the world. It's what the world occurs to us to be. And we always respond or perform according to how we perceive things to be. How we see the world or people, the interpretation we give it, the meaning that we give it, is going to determine our action, our activity. And our activity leads to a specific result. Many times we're trying to change circumstance, but we haven't altered our perception of the circumstance. And it's not just the circumstance that we have a perception of. Sometimes that's all we're fixated on. But actually, included in our interpretation of the world events or the relationships in our lives, there is an interpretation of ourselves. There's an idea, a self-image, who I am and what I am not. And this self-image is part of our perception. It's the filter through which we actually perceive the world. See, if the world seems to be overwhelming, if we start to look inwardly, we may notice that there's a self-image, a self-definition that says, I am overwhelmable. I am someone who can be overwhelmed, basically. I have been overwhelmed already. I have been overpowered, or I have experienced pain that I could not handle, or an experience of people doing something or being something that was more than I could bear. And because of that, I now define myself as someone who is victimizable, hurtable, woundable, vulnerable, right? And that pain for us is very real. The body feels it. And we remember that, maybe not consciously, often not, because we tend to record that and leave that in the subconscious region of our memory. but nonetheless it's there as a filter, as part of our self-image. A core wound is the ground for a core fear. And when I say core, I'm referring to subconscious but deeply embedded wounds, pain that we've been through that we remember at a subconscious level. There is memory there, meaning it can be recalled, though not by conscious memory often, but by the subconscious awareness through a part of the brain called the amygdala, which can also be known as the fear center. The amygdala is continuously taking the information of our senses in the present moment and processing it through the unconscious memory of pain. And it produces a fear state or a fear response so that we can fight or flee or fawn or freeze or flop. And all of that happens beyond conscious awareness. It's part of our self-definition. It just isn't something we're conscious of typically. And that can control our perception dramatically, how we interpret events. If something seems familiar to something painful in our past, we're going to respond in like manner as we did in the past. We may shut down, we may fight, we may get angry, we may avoid, we may start distracting. Maybe lust starts to kick in because now we're desperately seeking some form of pleasure to overcome how we feel. There's a lot of things that can happen quite automatically outside of our apparent control, and that can be extremely frustrating. So the invitation is to just understand the language with which I'm speaking, which I call a high-definition human linguistic structure or system. The high-definition human has awareness of greater degrees of nuance, of the function of their own body-mind system. And that gives us greater capacity to understand ourselves and to transform at a deeper level, at the root cause level, rather than addressing or labeling symptoms and missing out on what's there. So what do you notice in your experience? What is present for you internally? Now, to develop a high-definition resolution or to become a high-definition human, we must become aware of the nuance of the mind, different thought patterns, different types of emotional patterns, different types of somatic or bodily sensation patterns. Also, there are subtle impulses or urges, these efforts to do something. And we can become aware of these distinctions. And the more we distinguish them, the greater we understand what it is that's happening within ourselves, and the more we can begin to relieve ourselves of the automaticity, the reactive force that has been driving behavior that we no longer would like to run. So notice what you notice about yourself right now, and about whatever conditions or circumstances that may be challenging or occurring as a challenge. Or maybe they're very overwhelming, or maybe you've gone through something very painful. I invite you to just be gentle with yourself and welcome how you feel. Notice what thoughts are present. Allow yourself to become aware of what's really happening within, with love and compassion, and to pause from any effort to change or fix, to modify or adjust, or to do anything with what's there, but just simply have it, to see it, and notice by just witnessing. A sense of relief begins to come through. It can feel really good just to honor what you're feeling, even if it's something that feels not so good. If you welcome the not good feeling right now and just be gentle with it, what we're creating is a new experience. Where the feeling is uncomfortable, we're now bringing a sense of care and a sense of compassion, a sense of love even, for that part of ourselves. And so that now begins to bring what that part wants and is needing, really. There are parts of us that just feel deeply unmet with attention, with love, and with care. And we feel that as a sense of lack or missing. Sometimes it's a pain that's just there and we haven't been able to release that pain. But when we welcome it and honor it and just love on it, whatever's inside of us, we can start to experience a neutralization of that discomfort, of the reactivity that may be there. Because when we feel pain, we tend to want to get away from it somehow. And there may be certain behaviors, patterns that we run, even thinking patterns or emotional patterns, that are our effort to try and escape the pain that we feel. And that can seem like it's out of our control, and it can actually be not beneficial a lot of the time. It can cause disruption in our relationship, more than just disruption in our personal experience. If we're personally disturbed internally, then externally that can affect our relational dynamics. It can affect our capacity to perform, or affect our performance, or control or dictate our performance. And our performance may not be beneficial. So we would like to just become aware of these subtler functions, these deeper factors, and just welcome and honor them just the way they are. So notice whatever you're noticing. This is a light introduction to the Invincible Way, high definition human practice. And let's just wrap up this exploratory journey with a deep breath through the nose in and mouth out. Good. Nose in again and mouth out. Nose in again, mouth out. And now we're going to take a deep breath through the nose in and hold the breath at the top. Deep breath in and hold, and just relax the body, soften the body. Keep holding the breath gently, slowly swallow and feel the saliva running down to your belly. This brings attention to the autonomic process of swallowing. You may even feel your heart beating. Just notice what you notice. Keep holding the breath if you can. Relax a little more, lips into a tiny little pinhole, and slowly release the air. And just allow yourself to relax and be just as you are. Notice the quality of your experience. You can sense that calm and that peace within. It is so healthy for you to soften this way and to experience that sense of safety, security, and that support within. This is part of the Invincible Way practice. This is a way of being that allows you to develop greater awareness, a higher definition, resolution of your own inner workings. We are creating high definition humans so that you can see with more clarity, more detail within yourself, also within your relational dynamics, even when it comes to your performance around your job or your life purpose. And so this greater awareness, this greater degree of awareness, and also the regulated nervous system, the calm, the sense of safety, the ability to integrate one's inner world and make oneself whole and complete as an experience gives you tremendous power and freedom and aliveness that can transform your world and everyone around you. And if you'd like to learn more and get access to a bunch of great content in the online community group, visit invincibleway.com/join. And you can gain free access to the online group space and download the Go Collab app. And the Go Collab app is a great way for you to stay connected with the release of other content and all of the opportunities like our live events that are happening and revealed and released in that space. So feel free to go to invincibleway.com/join and join for free. There's a lot of goodies there. Happy to share those with you. And feel free to comment, share your experience below. Would love to hear from you.